Hello, everybody, folks. Welcome back aboard to Realltom Football. My name is Tom. Here's my Fancam after Arsenal Man City. There will be a Charlie, just so you're all aware. Just set that one out there. I did text him, and he's got people around, and he's having dinner, so he's not going to be doing a Fancam today. But it is going to be me, and I'm going to tell you straight away, right from the outset of this Fancam, the expectancy was to win. That is the standard today. That did not happen. Now, people can say what they want to say. People can make predictions. People can tease me. People can say, oh yeah, I was right. Oh yeah, I got that one bang on. Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that was self-inflicted. City were not very good on the ball. Let us have a lot of the ball. What did we do with the ball? Not a lot. There was a low block in place. However, we were shite from top to bottom, except for one player, and that one player will be spoken about soon. But first, we need to analyse the game before we talk about individual performances and individual discrepancies. And there was a lot of discrepancies today. No urgency throughout that entire game, up until the clock hits 87 minutes. On 87 minutes, the urgency factor kicks in. And that's when we find that goal. A goal that equalises it. Now the fans are going off mad in the stadium. However, does that sugarcoat a bad performance? No. No. Because if that was a good performance by us, then that wouldn't have been a draw. That'd have been a win. Because I don't care how well they're going to defend. We can break down the defence when we're playing well. The one thing I'm going to say, last season, 38 seconds it took us. We were only away from, I don't want to go too off track here, but it wasn't long before we scored the goal, right? In the game last season. And when they got their equaliser through Haaland, when Haaland scored, we were only level of 38 seconds. Instant reaction. We were up for it. Where was that today? Because that was not there. That was not there at all. However, super sub Martinelli comes to the goods again and rescues us from what would have literally been embarrassment. Because we know we figured out our Pep. However, today Pep tried something different. And we weren't up to the challenge. And the urgency did not kick in until minute 87. We had, in total, 92 minutes after the 9 minutes when the goal had been scored to respond. 92 minutes. We scored in 93rd minute. Wow. If we'd have got a goal in the first half or even early in the second half, that would have been a different game. Could have won 3-1, 2-1, whatever. Win's a win. If you win, I'm happy. We haven't won. Not happy. Performance was shit. And there is no hiding from that. I have paid good money for that West Ham ticket, you know. Good money. Through the ballot, but still. And the performance level, well, like I said, I was offered a ticket by my dealer. And you know what I said? No thanks. I'm glad I turned it down. Because, yeah, late goal, late equaliser. However, nah. Who would want to pay their money for that? That's my question. And I'm glad that I turned it down from a dealer. Because I was very optimistic about this game. I was very, very feeling like we were going to win. Confident. Expectant. So maybe me being expectant, I would have taken the ticket, but I didn't. And I look back and I go, yeah, I'm glad I didn't take that ticket. I'm glad I didn't. Absolutely diabolical, folks. Really. Just terrible. I mean, what are we playing at? Let's go into the notes. And let's start praising some people. Well, let's see. Raya. To be fair, mate, you didn't have a great deal to do. You did do one thing, though, and I didn't like it. You made a good save, but then you spilled it into a dangerous area. Yeah, mate, you should be grabbing all of that. Not happy with that, but you haven't had that much to do, mate. You've only had to make, let's see, how many saves you had to make today? What is it? No high claims, 2 saves, and they were both inside the box. 39 touches. Fairly easy game for you, mate. Because it was just a sloggy game. And I was saying in the first half, because of the way we were playing, had that goal, which was a bit of quality from City in the first 9 minutes from Haaland, not come, it'd be a 0-0 draw. It was a draw. It was 1-1. Because they got that goal. And it took us ages to respond. The urgency was not there. Now, I'm looking at other players on my team sheet here. You're in, Timber. You had an okay performance, but nothing exciting. Ricardo Calafiori, 6.6. And Saliba, 7.3. Don't agree with that. I thought Calafiori was one of our most up-for-it players today. He had, I think, 3 shots? Something like that? 3 attempts? You had a couple of attempts, didn't you, mate? What was it you had? How many attempts did you have, Ricardo? I know you had a few. You had 3 attempts. There you go, bang on. And to be fair, that's probably the most out of all the players on the main lineup. So I think your 6.6 rating should be higher than Saliba's 7.3. Because you were actually up for it today, mate. Well done to you. I've not got anything to criticise you, Ricardo Calafiori. Gabby, misplaced on the goal. I'm going to blame that on Ricey, the main midfielder, who's got a 7.2 save score rating. Gabriel and Saliba like scoring goals. They like to be up there and involved when a set piece, such as a corner, is taking place. They want to score goals. I don't know how many times I have to say that. So it's clear that Rice was in the 18-yard box or not focused and outside the 18-yard box still. Either way, Declan Rice should be covering up and running back whilst the corner situation is taking place. And I'm sorry I'm not looking at you guys. I'm looking at my screen because I'm doing a bit of finger movement on my screen. But Rice should be there, ready to cover so that William Saliba and Gabriel and the centre-backs who want to join in and jump can. A midfielder's job is not to attack a corner. A midfielder's job, particularly a defensive one, is to defend whilst the defenders are attacking the corner. Because that's how football works. And today, it's pretty clear to me that Rice, or Zubimendi, or Merino, one of them, whoever was on that duty, was not ready to cover for Gabriel and Saliba. And to be fair, I would expect it to be Rice who would cover for them. So Rice, you are getting a bad mark from me, mate. Because Zubimendi, he's shit going backwards, great going forwards. Not a lot I can say more, really. And Merino, very much attack-minded midfielder. So yeah, for me, that blame's going on Rice. Clearly, there was an issue with Declan Rice as the responsible midfielder covering for those 2 centre-backs who tried to get back, but couldn't get back in time. We'll move on to the 2 centre-backs themselves. Yeah, like I said, Big Gabby. Other than that, okay, nothing exciting, but he is the best centre-back in the world. Saliba, there is no way that you deserve a 7.3 rating, mate. Your heel was lifted for almost all of that second half, fella. On your right foot. or whichever foot it was. I don't care which foot it was. That tells me you're injured. You were playing for injury. And I'm going to say the exact thing to Bukayo Saka in a minute. You should have told your manager, I am not ready to play. So, for me, you don't deserve your 7.3 save score rating because you should have been on the pitch. Mosquera should have been from minute 1. Midfield-wise, yeah, Rice, you've got your bad mark from me, mate. Your 7.2 rating is not accurate at all. I'm sorry, mate, but you have to be covering. You have to be covering your defenders on a corner situation. You know it. As a CDM, not good enough. Move on. Zubimendi, barely noticed him. Can't say much more. Marino, again, barely noticed him. Can't say much more. Trossard, 7.0. No. You weren't that good, mate, today. You weren't that good. You didn't do that much. I'm sorry, mate, but nah. Originally, I called that as a wise decision from Mikel Arteta to put Trossard in as opposed to Eze. But I was wrong. He did not a lot. And the reason why I said it was wise is because Eze did not play well in midweek against Athletic Bilbao. But that was the wrong decision because Trossard did not play well. And neither of which did Madueke on the right. Nobody got any joy today. And Gyökeres, who was shit today, has got the worst service score rating out of them all, 5.9, because he was not able to get any service because neither of Madueke or Trossard could deliver. Because City tried a strange low block system and we did not adapt. So that rating is not Victor Gyökeres' fault. Subs. Let's move on to the subs. Bukayo Saka. Mate, I'm going to say the exact same thing to you as Saliba. You should have told your manager, I am not ready to come on. We know you're injured, mate. However, you don't tend to show it straight away, do you? However, when you came on, yeah, I think you were 7.3 rating. You were a lot better than Madueke today, which is something good for you. Yeah, Zippy, all right. But you will be injured again, mate. And I'm telling you that this guy gets injured every 2 weeks. Because this manager rushes his big players back from injury way too quickly. So, Saka, you should have told your manager, I'm not ready to play. Because we know you're not ready to play. Arteta, you shouldn't be rushing him back in. Neither Saliba. However, you are worthy 7.3 rating today, Saka, because he played well when he came on. Ebere, yeah, you were all right when he came on. Pretty decent performance. Came on from Marino, 46 minutes. Not bad from you, mate, at all. Not bad at all from you. Yeah, I can't really diss you. You were right, Ebere. I will get back to Martinelli in a minute because I'm going to save him for last. Yeah, so we had Ethan, come on. 84 minutes. Plays the Trossard. Did I notice him? Not really. Can't say much about Ethan. I'm sorry, mate. You're young. You're exciting. But you weren't given enough time. You were put into a shit game and you just weren't noticed. So I'm afraid, yeah, okay, you can have your 6.5 rating. There's nothing more I can say about you, Eve. And Mosquera, exact same thing for you, mate. You came on 90 plus 3, I think it was, whatever it was. Last minute of added time, something like that. Stuart Atwell played on about 2 minutes more than what he should have. So for me, mate, Christian, you came on, you couldn't really make an impact. So I'm not going to say anything about you. Came on for Zubimendi in added time, late in added time. But Martinelli came on 80 minutes, 10 minutes plus added time. Superb, mate. That's the second game running you've come on as a sub and making an impact. I'm not going to say you're back to yourself, but you might be. Good stuff, mate. Because I've been criticising you for a long time. But today, you came on and you made your impact. So fair play, Gabriel Martinelli. At the minute, I can apologise to you for the things I've said about you. Keep it up, otherwise the criticism will be back. However, 2 games in a row, coming off a sub, being impactful. What I want from you, mate. Good lad. Well done to Martinelli, man of the match, for the fact he got the equaliser. For us. 3 players out: Havertz, Jesus, and Martin Odegaard, all injured. Yeah, Odegaard is a shit captain, so I'm glad he's injured. Havertz will be back soon, and Jesus is a lost cause. So yeah, there was no excuses squad-wise. There was no excuses whatsoever today, really. And there is no sugarcoating this at all, under any stretch. And City had all but Kovacic, who's out with an injury. I thought he still played for City. Calvin Phillips, wow, he still plays for City, does he? Shirky, Inori, and Marmoush all out with an injury. Yeah, other than that, 2 fully fit squads against each other. And it was definitely going towards a 0-0 draw. But like I said, throughout that game, City, 9 minutes in, found their quality, had a bit of quality. Good goal by Haaland, 1-0. And it was a totally demoralising game when asked the point of view. But Martinelli, I've got to give you the credit, mate. However, we are now left in a bad state. That is not the result we expected. It was not the expected result. Sort it out. Redeem yourselves and get a win at St James's Park. Because if there's anybody who can stop Liverpool, it is Crystal Palace. And that is Liverpool's next fixture. However, we are not going to go off on a tangent about Liverpool too much in a way of trying to get ourselves back up. Because today, there should have been a win and it wasn't. And that is down to the performance. I've not got much more to say. But folks, that was a joke. However, Martinelli, the only player that even deserves being talked about in a good way today. And folks, I have nothing more to say. I want to thank you all for watching this. I want to thank you all for being with me this weekend. And after this Fancam, you will see me on Tuesday, the Carabao Cup action. I have nothing more to say. Take care and have a good night. Bye-bye.